Well, hello. I wanted to bring to your attention another anomaly of history. If we understand what we've been told by Philo and other historians of our day, the Septuagint, also known as the LXX or the 70, LXX means the Roman numerals for 70, describing the translation of the Greek Old Testament. We're told that Ptolemy II, building the library in Alexandria, one of the greatest learning centers of the ancient world, used to tax the ships as they came to port, and that would be part of your docking fees to surrender any scrolls, any books that you had on board so that they could be copied by the scribes at the Library of Alexandria. And he had sent and asked LXX, the high priest of the Jews, if he could supply him with scrolls so that he could copy them. LXX complied by sending 70, or some versions of the story say 72, scribes to Alexandria, and supposedly, if you want to believe Philo's story, they got each every day sent into a separate cubicle, and miraculously every day they translated the scriptures word for word. They all came out with the results day after day until the job was complete. Now this all happened approximately 250 BC. 250 BC this supposedly happened. And archaeologists claim that they have found scraps of the Septuagint from the 2nd century and from the 1st century BC. Now, I don't know if you had watched my video on the Christian falsification of history or not, but within those videos I pointed out, as I was reading a blog by Anatoly Fomenko, that he believes, just through statistical analysis, that the Old Testament was written after the new one. That sounds a little far-fetched, a little crazy. But if you do a little research, you'll find, even if you want to count in the Dead Sea Scrolls, which I personally believe were just planted there by the church, it's not mentioned by most people, but there is a monastery, Christian monastery, not far from Qumran. And it is quite possible that they were just simply depositing things there over the years, and that they were the ones that possibly put those writings there and not the Essenes, as we were told. But you can go ahead and think I'm a crazy nut for thinking that. Either way, the fact is that the oldest Hebrew Bible that we have, the oldest complete text we have of the Old Testament, only dates, again, to approximately 950 of the current era. 950. We have Old Testaments in Greek that are older than the oldest complete Hebrew text. And those oldest copies of the Septuagint are in the Codex Vaticanus and the Codex Sinaiticus, the oldest complete Bibles, New and Old Testament, in the world. We're told that they date back to approximately 350 to 380 of the current era. So Bibles containing the New Testament, the oldest that we have to date, are in fact 600 years older than the oldest complete Hebrew text of the Old Testament. And that Septuagint has been gradually looked upon the years as being a corrupt translation. The reason being is that, for the most part, every text that is used by the Christians, for the most part, every text had been mistranslated from the Hebrew into the Greek. As I had mentioned the fact of that in my introductory video, and so say the Jewish publishers of a text I have here. And yet the church still holds up these two ancient Bibles and says that these are the truth. These books are the Word of God. And even though we're told that Jesus spoke Aramaic, that he, as you can see by comparing the text between the Septuagint and what is in the Greek New Testament manuscripts, Jesus quotes out of the Septuagint. Paul and all the other writers of the New Testament quote from the Greek Septuagint, not from the Hebrew Old Testament. All the early church fathers quote from the Greek Septuagint, and it was held in high regard by them. Let me start over here with another part 2 of this. I'm going to run out of time.